Now let us see what is latent heat of fusion versus latent heat of vaporization. Okay, we have already seen the change in phase. So first let us see the latent heat of vaporization. That is temperature. See, when liquid is getting converted to gas, its temperature will not change. That is called the saturation temperature, because as liquid turns to gas. So this is called latent heat of fusion, because whatever heat you supply during this process, this will be used to break the molecular bonds of this liquid state to vapor state. Okay, and this heat absorbed is called the latent heat of vaporization. The heat that is absorbed to change the phase from liquid to gas. Okay, from liquid to gas. Without During this process, there will not be any change in the temperature. Temperature will constant. This is called the latent heat of vaporization. Now let us see what is latent heat of fusion. In latent heat of fusion, this solid is getting converted to liquid. And here also the molecular bonds of this solid phase is broken down, and finally the molecules become little more free. So that happens in the latent heat of fusion. So heat absorbed at this time is not used to increase the temperature, but to break the bonds of the solid phase to liquid phase. So this is called the latent. So this heat absorbed during the phase change process is called latent heat of fusion, and the heat absorbed during the changing phase from liquid to gas is called latent heat of vaporization. These are the differences. So you can, if you draw that in a temperature and heat supplied, you can see that x-axis you have the heat supplied and y-axis you have the temperature. So in the case of a solid, you can see that when the heat is applied, its temperature gradually rises, and finally it will reach a point that is the saturation point. At this point, temperature will not change, but all this heat is used to break down the molecules, and finally it will reach here. And again, when you supply heat, its temperature will rise, and finally it reach a point when all this liquid is converted to gas. So if you further apply heat, you can see that it will become superheated vapor.